Okay, today is May the 9th, 2017, and right now at 9:30 p.m. we have a temperature of 56 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 76%, the dew point is 49 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 29.94 inches. Okay, so right now we're looking at the Southwest Watervapor map, and there's some interesting things going on right here. First of all, we have an upper level low, mid and upper level low spinning right here. And this is winding a lot of moisture back through eastern California, down into Southern California, as we can see. But look what's happening right in here. We see a black oval suddenly appear. This is a transmitter superheating this area. And we see a shock wave moving backwards against the flow pattern here. We can see a circular shock wave right there where the pen tip is. Right there, actually moving against the flow in a northerly direction. Take a look at that, because when we go to the next view here, we're going to see the MODIS Today map, which is right here. And we can see, first of all, right here, this area is being superheated so that this moisture, when it wraps around, will not generate any precipitation. And of course, this area is being chemtrailed over as well. We can see the chemtrails all throughout this loop down here. Right here, we can see all the chemtrails being sprayed. But right here is where they superheat this area. We see the area fill out in a dark oval, and then we see a shock wave moving against this flow, which is all wrapping counterclockwise. Now let's go look at the MODIS Today map and look at these odd signatures here. This is a pressure wave right as this was taken. We can see the outflow. There is some very strange things going on in this picture here. We can also see the same pressure pattern in this area of clouds out here. This is it looks like rings in a tree, but in fact this is a pressure wave that has made its way all the way out to about here. This flows all the way around. And of course, you can see the rings here and here. And over on the right side of the screen, we can see all the chemtrail haze out in the eastern desert area. And out into Colorado, we can see this is the Colorado River, where there are a lot of reservoirs and dams. And of course, this is where we see a high concentration of chemtrail haze all through here. Now we have the natural brilliant white clouds buried under this chemtrail haze, as we can see. And same thing over here. We have some chemtrail haze all through this area. But this is the main feature. So our area here was targeted with a microwave today. Let's go back again and look at this carefully once again in the various maps. This is the water vapor map. And we see that shock wave right there. There's actually a couple of them. There's one there and then one here. So they hit this twice. Bang, right there. And then this second one, there's a secondary right here and here. Okay, now let's go to the IR map and see what happens right here in the same area. Everything just disappears, and we can see a large circular shape towards the end right here. This whole area is cleared out. Okay, now let's go look at the SSEC water vapor map, and we can get some pretty good detail here. We can see all the chemtrails being sprayed. Look at this. This looks like graph paper out here. We have all the trails all through this jet stream flow. Actually, we've got this weather system up here spinning. There's a blockade engineered right between the jet stream and this counterclockwise spinning frontal system right here. That's all been blockaded to keep these two separated from one another. But look at here. Look at all this chemtrail haze. These trails that are being sprayed all through this. They're just everywhere, all through this area, over Oregon, Washington, Northern California, Idaho. All this stuff is blowing into Idaho and Nevada. And then, of course, over over California, we can see where we can see the shock waves right here, right there, towards the very end, moving to the north. There's actually a couple of them. One there, and then the second one right, right in this area. Pardon me, I'm still sick. Must have chemtrail sickness or something. I was fine up north. As soon as I get back to LA, I'm choking and coughing and everything else. So please pardon me for that. All right, let's look at some of these other maps. Here's the Northeast Pacific Water Vapor Loop. We've got an upper level low spinning near Hawaii, just northwest of the islands. Transmitter on that, we can see all this dark area. And we see a lot of chemtrail spraying right here towards the end. We see the vertical spraying right there on the last frame, and that is the jets spraying this moisture field as it moves in over the over Kauai. It looks like the most northernmost island right there. And of course, we can see all the chemtrails out here. We've got look at this. We've got some monsoonal flow. This system down here looks like it's been blown apart. This would be on the East Pacific map, which I do not have pulled up. This looks like it was targeted with microwave. We see a blast pattern, and we see some of this moisture flowing right into that vortex over Arizona. And of course, we've got this blockade engineered to separate this next moisture field here from getting wound into that low pressure system. Let's look at the let's look at the infrared map next. And we see the counterclockwise rotation. Southern California should be getting a lot of rain. It was overcast, completely overcast all day in Southern California. Okay, now here's the western U.S. water vapor loop. We can see that blast wave, that pressure wave right there, as this area is superheated. So they targeted Southern California today. They blew a hole right into the moisture field, which is wrapping around and should have brought a lot of rain to Southern California, additional rain. We can see this technique here. So they target this area, they superheat the moisture in the area, and it generates a shock wave. In this case, we can see the one moving northbound against the flow pattern, which is all moving down through the state to the south. This is not Mother Nature. That is a microwave transmitter, a satellite-based microwave transmitter, generating that very large opening. Okay. Now there's a question on the forum, on the channel, about which transmitters are they using to do what. Well, we've shown the the precipitation pattern here in the Doppler map, and we notice if we zoom in very closely on some of these areas, like in Spokane or Portland or Seattle or Los Angeles or any of these big cities, we see these pie-shaped cutouts in the precipitation pattern. Well, that's the NEXRAD ground transmitters that are beaming microwave horizontally along the landscape and chopping up these precipitation patterns. So that's the ground transmitters at work there. But these other transmitters we've been talking about here, for instance, are causing these big holes in the moisture to open up. So we see that right there. Also, we see the blockades that are engineered right here. This could only be done effectively with a satellite. It's probably a low Earth orbiting satellite. There's probably a network of these that are polar orbiting, and there's a bunch of them going over in a polar orbit, and they use these to generate these blockades and generate the right angles and all that. It doesn't seem likely that a geosynchronous satellite at 22,300 miles would be effective using coherent microwave or laser. So these are most likely low Earth orbiting satellites that are between 165 and 200 miles up, in my opinion, in my estimation. So anyway, that's pretty much the report. We have more overcast weather on the way. We've got this system slowly moving to the east. All this moisture is wrapping around. It should be bringing a lot of should be delivering a lot of rain to the Southern California area. But we see the manipulation right here. There's actually two pressure waves. There's the first one, and then we have the second one. Okay, so that is pretty much the situation. Let's see here. We have the pressure maps. Let's take a quick look at that. We have the sea level pressure map right here, which is showing a low, a closed low, which is a very jaggedy looking low right here over Nevada. We've got a low indicated down here over Mexico, and a low up here in the Gulf of Alaska at the surface level. So let's look at the 500 millibar map. There's that closed low. And then there's a lot of jaggies, a lot of squiggly lines. That's the transmitters at work, forcing descending air into or near the center of that low. And here's the 500 millibar map. More jaggedy lines, squiggly lines out here as well. But the key thing today is this. This is the MODIS Today map. We can see these pressure rings as a result of that transmitter downburst right over Southern California today. We can see all of it. This was, there's probably 2 or 3 or more blasts that they hit us with, areas of RF energy that cause these pressure waves. Okay, so leave it right here, and we'll do another one tomorrow.